So you introduced to me the idea of the so-called SnapX, which is short for the snap exercise
Yeah.
and refers to how quick it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love the name, the SnapX. So what is it?
So the SnapX concept was actually realized out of a need in our days nowadays to find ways that people can do a mini training, a tiny training. We speak about sometimes a minute.
In training, Lille.
Ooh. Training what?
Just
Training Lele?
a training, Lille.
Ah, training le. This is a sweet one. Exle. Like this is my exle. No. So,
No.
No. So the
SnapX.
the SnapX. So a snap exercises would be, what can I do with my attention? What can I do with my embodied awareness? Let's say to rejuvenate, to reconcentrate, to refocus, to re-engage when I have time between situations in life.
For example?
So here comes the thing. Most people, when they want to train something, they would say, I would never have the time.
Yeah.
Because we have an image that we have to go out of life in order to do something for life.
Yeah.
So it's a retreat, it's travel, it's a journey, it's a flight, it's a course, it's all kinds of...
1.5 hours in the morning of...
Yeah. So if you have a bloody little miserable moment, what can you do with 2 minutes on the balcony or on the roof or in the street to recalibrate your entire system and to bring your experience into an optimized mode, flow if possible? How can you use your muscles, your breathing, your eye focus, your listening audio input, your movement in order to do something that is a snap, that usually it's time that we never have.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, it's amazing. When we wait for the elevator,
Yeah.
we're waiting.
SnapX.
We're waiting for the train,
Yeah.
waiting for the tram, for the bus, for the whatever,
Yeah.
for the computer to complete the whatever.
Yeah.
We have
for
a
the
lot of
beer to get cold.
yes, this is the German
I mean, then
Schnappax version. Yes, those ones. For instance, you wait for the oven to.
Yeah.
Okay, so those moments. This is the funny thing. Our attention is usually not engaged in something, and we seek the next distraction. Because the easiest thing would be now I'm waiting for the cake to bake, to take my phone, I get busy with, but it's okay. As at the same time, those lost moments are really magical. Think of it like the sunrise. What is so magical in the sunrise? What is so magical in the sunset? It's the twilight zone. It's the in-between. What is so magical about falling asleep and the moment you wake up? Those transition periods are the ones that I discovered a lot about attention management. And we will talk about this. It's a little bit deeper than the normal workshop first step.
Yeah.
But basically we speak about transitions, like evolution.
Yeah.
Where do things really evolve?
So
in
it's
between.
really, so the transition is really also ending something and starting something new.
Beautiful.
Right? And this would mean that I bring all of my attention to the new situation instead of with my half my ass still sitting.
Yes, and even more than just bringing myself just to a new one, I can use the in-between moment as a leverage. Okay,
Yeah,
because
what you just mentioned with the evolution happening in between.
It's exactly in between. Now, if you think of it, before the concert starts, everybody is excited. There is a moment of before, right? Like the movie. I know it from the Berlinale. I know people that just they listen, they hear the music of the Berlinale. Never mind whatever film will come. Just now, if I learn to surf attention and embodied awareness, I know how to jump on the wave. Because something is about to start. And I'm jumping on the wave. My body is already there. My attention is already there. How can I do something then zoom, from 0 to 100 in a sec.
Snap-hacks.
Yes. And the same thing at the end. We are so, at the end, sometimes a concert or a movie or a situation, and it ends. We are now ready to go. There is another leap that the body is ready. Mm-hmm. I see it with my little dog. We sit somewhere and then we have to go. So it's another beginning or it's another ending, but it's an in-between that the entire experience level jolts into life. If we learn to pick those moments, the in-between moments become very, very powerful. Usually we look at them like dead moments.
Yeah.
Now I give here a secret for free. This is where the energy lies. It's in the in-between. Mm-hmm. We are obsessed with the stuff. We don't notice that the magic is in between. Mm-hmm. So if we take our experience and we just notice those in-betweens, what do I do with my attention when I climb the stairs? Now, most people would curse and then I have to climb down the stairs. Yes, but at the same time I can do something in the in-between.
Yeah.
What do I do when I'm waiting for the elevator, when I'm doing in the waiting room? I can do in different places. There are those magical lost moments we can wake up to. Mm-hmm. And in a very short time, we can do a snapback, snapback, and jump back. Mm-hmm. Those are little things, little moments. Now, sometimes we have to take, not in between, we have to take a break because it's crazy. Situation is too much. Mm-hmm. We have to go out and we have to do it intentionally out of the situation to come back into. But sometimes it's just there.
It does ring the bell of nervous system regulation, and it would probably be a level that you could describe it on or with.
On the neurological level.
Yeah.
Of the in-between stage.
Yeah, or what the SnapX is helping you with.
Okay, the way that the excitement comes because of the ending and the beginning. This is just an example.
Yeah, but also this resetting of like.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the reason I ask is, would you say that it's useful to intentionally leave something behind that was like a lot, like one thing that happens so many times in the everyday life is that someone screams at you in traffic, and they kind of slur you with their aggression, and then you have it on you, and you're like, ugh, so what am I gonna do now with this?
All right. Well, I heard it from people. I'm not riding the bike anymore
since
mine was stolen. Yeah.
So, and I don't mean necessarily like real danger where that was a dangerous situation, but this people using you to be like, ah.
Okay.
And then you have it as if on you, this, and then to not carry it on and to see, and where can I put it now, but to
to scream at somebody else.
Snapbacks, and would you say that it can be used for this?
I didn't think of it intentionally in this way, but definitely. It has to. It must to. It should. And sometimes we see that there are ways of mini trainings of this kind, of the SnapX kind, that need to address certain things that we haven't yet gotten to, and we should. So, for instance, this kind of thing can be emotionally hurting.
Yes.
Feeling of being, I don't know how you have to call it, but to be denigrated, to be put down. Somebody disrupts or breaks into your personal sphere. And how do we deal with the emotions of it? How the body feels it physically, the sensations of it, and how we can learn to deal with situations like this and bounce back more in neutral way.
Yeah.
So, and not to put it aside, pretend it's not there.
Yes. Not
going now to give Jesus a hug and forgive automatically, but to really look at the situation. So, yeah, definitely those are the moments exactly that I'm calling for. By the way, an in-between moment on the traffic light. Now, it's very interesting because the in-betweens are so powerful, we usually in those moments search to do something.
Yeah.
So you have 10 seconds on the traffic light, you will start playing with the radio check your phone, look at the mirror. You like, what can I be busy with now at this moment? And we can ride on this wave to sense the body, attention, concentration, even to be silent for a sec. I can personally say one of the places that I discovered silence as an easiest way to access was those in-between moments, especially in hallways. Yeah, sometimes you go into buildings and it's like endless walking. It's really like a movie. It's like a drone movie that suddenly looks at this thing. It's amazing. Or sometimes when nobody greets you or meets you on the staircase, there is a very empty space there. It's almost like a meditation place. You just climb the stairs. For many people, those moments when they discover them become a source of creativity because ideas, new concepts, new images, something snaps in those in-between moments that you are waiting for something else to happen, let's say. So it's a very, very powerful moment. It's a bit like the cosmic vacuum that we now know physically that there is, or from the physicist's perspective, there is a lot of energy in those empty places. Amazing. So as humans in our everyday lives, how can we tap such moments and rejuvenate ourselves? It's like touching the universe for a sec and coming back, ready for life. Those moments. This would be part of what I would see as very relevant to explore.
Absolutely. And it is really so accessible and so yummy and so doable also. It's not it's easy to think of this, you know, in your everyday life when you're like, oh, wait a second, now I'm waiting for the U-Bahn. I can do the exercise.
And again, in those in-between moments, sometimes it's not comfortable places. Like I receive, because I'm doing a lot with attention, perception, and embodiment and everything in my workshops and things also since years. I had sometimes people working with me and then sending me very sad pictures, like the platform of the train with 30 people, each one looking at this completely alone. And we all do this. But suddenly you see a picture and it's like, wow, what an image. So we do something with this lost time, but we can also do it with re-embodied awareness and re-attentive resources and so on, all this re-thing. But it's sometimes sad because when we stand on a platform and want to sense the world, it could be that it's sad. The only thing moving might be an advertisement role, and people around you basically playing dead until the S-Bahn U-Bahn will come. There's usually not much to see. Berlin is in a very, very good shape, but other places are even worse. Like it's really, really sad, bad, scary. Metro spaces in Paris or London, New York. So it's not always the easiest place. But just as an example, even on a train, I was working sometimes with people that have to commute half an hour. I can read the newspaper and get angry about the government, and I can do something with my eyes, or I can do something with my even organs. I can learn to work with certain places I have medical issues with, just to use the time. And to do it in a playful way, easy way. It doesn't have to be hard work. It's lost moments. So it's actually, you already have them. You don't have to work hard. These are the places that I would like to illuminate in our lives, because then it becomes very interesting. Because if you think of it, when you move into the room, let's say you go up home, elevator or stairs or whatever, you open the door, you make a cut. Do you really remember what you saw on the staircase? Do you remember the last people you saw in the street? We even forget sometimes when we park the car. It's like we do a lushing thing, we erase, we cut, and we don't really have the continuity of our awareness. So when we look at the in-between, there is another level of this, which is maybe too deep, I don't know, but to start to see that actually if I have in my awareness those in-between moments, I enlarge the continuity of my perception, my consciousness, and I don't just have snapshots of life. Now I'm home, now I'm at work, I don't even know how I got there. Now it's this, Now it's that. It's a little bit like our fragmentized awareness with the screens. It's amazing. Most movies that we now watch, we just stumble on by zapping already in the middle of the movie. We don't even wait for it to end. We're in another one. Or music that we hear on the radio, we just turn it on. There is a song in the middle. Everything is in the middle. And our attention also learns to have this snapshots or very, very tiny snippets of life, and go connected. So we don't say that we have a theory to connect. We don't have a philosophy to connect. We don't have a religion that will tell us the narrative of the world. But we have a conscious experience that we can connect, that we can enlarge, and we can own, consciousness-wise, perception-wise. And then when I use the in-between moments, instead of lost moments, they become like part of how I glue back my life into a more holistic experience, which is beautiful. And it's mine, and it's already there.
I mean, it definitely opens a larger context to look at it like this, right? So the SnapX is not only to wake up in between, but it's actually fusing together two otherwise perceived as separate situations.
Beautiful. And the energy
it's
that
like,
is there.
It's the transition of like surfing from one into the other instead of like
or falling asleep.
Or
it's like a wobbly, a bad contact on the lamp. That suddenly turns off, turns on. Turns off,
and it sounds because when you started talking about it this way, I first was like, oh, this sounds a bit tiring to be even more aware. But now I feel it's very efficient, actually. Like it saves a lot of energy to not have to
cut,
to switch off and turn it back on, but to be like gliding.
Interesting, And the idea is not to be aware with a stress about something. It's just to notice life is now happening. Okay, no drama. It's really I would suggest to de-dramatize things, de-spookify the magic.
For sure.
It's already there. But it just means that you have a continuity of life rather than cut and the edit. It's like you get the editor's cut and you want to have the entire flow. So on the way home, for instance, how many things happen to us we don't even notice because we don't want to be there. We want to be home.
Yeah, and I mean,
those
it's
kind
also,
of things.
it can also be a lot, right? Especially here in the big city and the traffic, you see a lot of things that if you paid attention to them would require change.
Okay, but you go now a little step further.
Yeah.
But if during this time when you watch those things, you watch them, but you can breathe. You watch them, but you can be embodied. And you watch them and you can be silent. Sometimes it's sad.
Yeah.
So you can experience what is there, because your body feels it usually anyway. But you don't have to now do something or deal with something.
And you don't necessarily have to bring your attention outward.
You don't have to be busy with this.
Yeah.
The beauty of attention is that you are the driver.
Yeah.
I can look at you now and put my attention on the plant. This is sometimes happening when we are distracted, but we can also choose to. We are open for manipulations many times because we don't want to take responsibility for our attention. If you would now tell me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, and I have to look at you. Why? You can do whatever you want. I can be busy with my computer. I am the owner of this beast, and it's a wonderful beast. And I don't have to fall into provocations. I don't have to fall into manipulations. I own my attention. I can choose how to disengage. So sometimes it's also sad, and sometimes there is nothing for me to do. But it's still my life. It's still the furniture of the city. It's still what is happening around me, for good and for bad. I can't control everything. I don't put on myself now the demand on top of everything to control the world. I want to first of all start with this molecule of the world and to manage that one and to see how it communicates with the rest of what happens in my surrounding. This is already a lot. And I would say this is called to be human.
Yes.
Later on, if you want to be an activist and to deal with the Bäume and the Umweltschutz and the pollution and what happens to the world, wonderful. Also there you can do wonderful things. It's not against it at all.
No.
But you first of all have to connect to the ecosystem in an access point. Then this plug is first here. And then we can see what to do.
Snap eggs. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I really like. It's a very catchy thing.
And by the way, when it started, it was with children in schools, and I wanted to do something for them. And my concept was, how do I start a class with a SnapX to bring the children, the kids, the youth on board, and how to complete it at the end of the class. So it doesn't take too much time. It's to be short. Yeah. You can do it in a group. You can feel the power of the group. And then we go into studies, because we know that children have more or less an attention span sharply planned for 20 minutes at the time. So if we do something in the beginning and then they go into the 20 minutes, it'll be the optimized experience.
Wonderful.
So it's kind of an induced flow concept.
Yeah.
But this we can speak more and more in details.
Yeah.
But in the workshops, it will be also partly presenting those concepts.
Yeah.
And asking people also what they would like to take, what they feel comfortable with.
So this is now the plug, let's say, about the workshop that we're going to do on the 20th of August, where
it's
we will
all about attention.
It's all about attention, and we will definitely do some snap access there.
Yeah, exactly. It will be part of the menu.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah.
Cool. Looking forward.
Yeah, me too. It will be lovely.